Hey guys, good morning. We're kind of sticking with our same theme that we've had, this dual-sided theme of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. And that being said, I want to introduce you to a company called Net1 UEPS. This is a company that makes money. Ignore the chart here for now, and I'll go into that later. Net1 UEPS has been a profitable company for a long time. If I step back out and show you the 1 year chart, hopefully this doesn't skew our numbers here, but if it does, we'll have to redo it. And it does. But anyway, actually it held in there. UEPS it's kind of flatlined for a long period of time here. At least the 1 year chart shows you how it's dropped down from a high of around 13 and change, almost $14 a share, to where it kind of baselined at around $9 a share. There's a few things that I like about it technically and a few things I don't like. But fundamentally, the company is very interesting. They've recently teamed up with a company called Bitstamp. And let me just read you a little bit about Bitstamp and how they're involved in cryptocurrency and how they're a huge player. So bear with me here. I'm actually going to read, if you don't mind, from an article on Bitstamp. So Bitstamp is the second largest cryptocurrency trading platform in the world. It's the largest Bitcoin exchange in the EU in terms of volume. It holds the world's second largest share of Bitcoin transactions at 22%, based on a weighted order book. It is ranked number 2 for Bitcoin exchanges based on numerous factors, including volume, spread, volatility, trades per minute, etc. It also trades a few other cryptocurrencies, Litecoin, which I've heard of, Ether, and Ripple, which I'm not familiar with. We know this is kind of a bubble area. We knew that, at some point the internet bubble would burst from the 90s, but there would also be survivors. So what we're trying to do is find companies that can benefit from this theme that we're seeing. It's going to be a FOMO type of theme. A lot of people that missed out on Bitcoin, I am one of them, are looking for other ways to get into it now after the fact. And obviously we're seeing that in stocks now. We're seeing stocks tagging their name along with this type of theme. They're getting involved in this technology. But I think UEPS is doing it better than anybody currently. They're a payment processing company that kind of helps transactions move more efficiently and safely. They've been doing it for years, so this isn't something new for them. They are profitable, like I said, and teaming up with Bitstamp is huge for them. So they're going to be the payment provider of choice for Bitstamp, and that's pretty big. So obviously they'll be. I don't look at the structure of the agreement, but they're going to be getting a piece of every transaction. Although it's a low margin business, you're talking huge volume here. So keep that in mind. The company could survive without this theme. That's what we're looking for. We don't want to be involved in any companies that cannot survive if and when this bubble in this sector breaks. We want to be in the companies that are dual themed, can survive on their own, and it's just an added benefit. So GROW and UEPS are our picks. If you want to call them swing trades, that's fine. If you want to call them investments, I don't have a problem with that either, because both are survivors on their own. UEPS, just looking at this technically here, and once again, we're just using the Fibonacci fan as a tool for looking at waves and entries. And you can see how it's lined up fairly accurate here. It would indicate that some type of a bull wedge might form today, with 1150s being a bottom. And remember, we're looking at bottoms, meaning that we can swing through those trading points, but we want to close above those areas. I would scale into this a minimum of 2 parts, maybe 3. Realizing this stock has been floundering for a while, and that these fundamentals may take a little while to surface. That being said, there's a few things I like about it, as I mentioned, and a few things I don't technically. I do like that we did see some buying once we dipped below our flatline area back in August. The opening was the lowest opening we've seen since May. They did buy it. And then a little bit of a follow through, but then a trade back down to that line again where they retested it. And then once again, the attempted breakout failure. The only thing I don't like is prior to earnings, we dipped down below. Could have been a little bit of trepidation. No big deal. Once again, they posted 43 cents. So this is a profitable company. Has a very low PE for a reason. Obviously, you can see the growth has been stagnant. But like I said, this is a survivor, and that's what we want. We don't want to be in the super speculative issues. Another thing here is the 2 channels that I think we're going to form, like we did with Trex. This lower channel is based on the price movement on the daily here on the 1 year chart. I do think that if you replicate this on your chart, you'll find that we may form a wedge along there, and then that's a very high inclination on that. We may form more of a subtle wedge, a bull wedge within these parameters here on the Fibonacci fan. In any case, if you're looking to enter, I have no problem entering it basically where it is right now for a position. And then if we get somewhere in between 1020 and 1070, I would add another position if you're looking for a three-part and you want to go a little bit heavier and you want to split hairs here. Entering it in here, entering it just about 11:05 depending on the time frame, and then low 10s would be your three-part buy-in. Just looking at this from a longer term perspective, if you're not holding too big, I would not be a seller of this until we get 3 days under the $9 a share. I know it's a decent way down from there, but if you're holding a small position, I think we should be comfortable doing that without a problem. And let's take a look at the longer term chart on here and see what it has to offer. So needless to say, with this big move, we're above the 200 and 100-day moving averages. And the 100 now is starting to bend up slightly. Obviously, in time, this will start to curl, and you might get a 100-200 cross, which we'd like to see. But this has had a heck of a move once again. You know, this might not trade like a low float, high spec, $2 or $3 stock. This is a stock that's been around a while. Covenant's been around a while, and has a bigger float. So you might not get the type of movements that you get. If traders do pick up on the news that I think I've kind of looked into a little bit deeper than the average day trader, they may jump on this and get this thing really running. So let's take a look at the longer term chart. Obviously we're well above some of the longer term averages here, and actually this 200-day moving average, the way it's kind of bending is starting to flatten, might curl up around the low 10s, which would be another low end entry. So here's your 5-year weekly. I'll stretch it out in a second. The 20's been interesting on the weekly as well, with some pivot changes in direction, no doubt about it. And you can see here how we held it and then failed, retested it several times. Then 1, 2, 3 closes obviously above it. So we're definitely in play here. The volume has not been outrageous, so maybe this little gem is under the radar for now. So here's your 5-year weekly. We can see the trend change back in 2013, the beginning of 2013. Remember, we're trying to catch as many candles as we can, so if we start to dip down here, we don't really catch the candles of this upper channel here on the weekly. And then you can see the failure here. Interesting enough, this failure actually correlated with the high that we saw in the recent rally. So no doubt about it, 1370 will be a significant area to overcome on the longer term chart. We overcome that, you're probably going to head into around the 1650, 1660 area, and I don't have a problem with that. So definitely a directional change here. If we want to narrow this down even more to our channels using the 3-week rule, 3-day rule, however you want to look at it, I would say this line is significant here. So this is our longer term directional changes. You can see how we breached this line. We did have, 3 closes under it. We got back above it, and then we fail along here. I like to use this line here if we could. So we want to get back above, and obviously this moves slightly in time. We want to get back above that 12 on a close. A few weeks above that, we'd certainly be poised for a higher move. I do believe if we attack this 13 and change, almost 14, that we're going to push through it. I do like the slightly upward bias in the base here, other than the outlier in September. If we drew a line from the bottoms only, you can see a slight bend in this over a period of time. I guess it's a little bit horizontal to flat. If you want to kind of tag it like that, you can see, but we saw that in the 1-year chart. It's definitely not on a horizontal weekly having a break. You know, traditional technical analysis would say that we did have a double bottom here around 845, so we like that as well. So we're kind of checking off some boxes here, and we do like what we're seeing here. That's a little bit off, but you get the picture. We didn't have a retest on the third one, at least, even though we have this slightly downward bias on the yearly, on the 1 year daily. So interesting company here. I do think we should be invested in this. I'm taking a position today. I don't have anything right now currently. We're kind of rolling over a little bit in pre-market, but the volume is absolutely nothing. 500 shares. I think we should get in this and use that stop that we said a couple weeks under $9 a share, and there's something structurally wrong here. But you can see the earnings flat, flat, flat. We had a little bit of a pop up here. They sold it. Actually, it failed on that news, so it might have been baked in, but you can see it's been pretty flat, and hopefully we'll catch a little traction here, and this will be a winner for us. Add it to the group.